When Carmelo Anthony was at the Thunder's 2017 media day and was asked about how he felt coming off the bench for his new team, his response was,
"Well, me?"
He was shocked, and you could understand why. Yes, he was already almost 34 and just joined a team that already had superstars who were in their prime. But he also did just average 22 points per game as the main guy in New York and made his 8th consecutive All-Star appearance. The idea that Melo, who had never come off the bench in the NBA once, was now a second stringer, it seemed ridiculous, to him at least. He ended up starting, but he wasn't the main option anymore, coming in third for the Thunder in scoring, shots, and usage rate. OKC were the 4 seed, performed better with him on the court than off it, and had one of the best starting fives at the time. Everything fell apart in the playoffs, where we saw Melo shoot 38% from the field while being repeatedly shut down on defense, resulting in a first-round loss. 3 months later, he was out of OKC and on his way to Houston. 4 months after that, he was leaving Houston. Only a year after that interview, the future Hall of Famer was out of the league, having to wait patiently for a new opportunity. It's hard not to think about Melo and seeing what is happening to Russell Westbrook. Westbrook saw firsthand how quickly everything changed for Melo after that Thunder media day, how the NBA changed, and where Melo was left. As the last-minute addition to the Lakers last year, Westbrook once again teamed up with Melo, yet this time he had just clawed his way back into the league by coming to terms with playing a smaller role. After a terrible year with the Lakers, the worst season of his career, Westbrook now finds himself in the same spot Melo was, along with many superstars throughout the years. In 2019, one of his coaches said in an interview that when you're one of the top 10 players in the league for 10 years, you think it's going to be like that forever, and that the players are always the last ones to realize they aren't a star. Every fear that people had about Westbrook fitting in with the Lakers last season has come true, as he didn't play well with LeBron. The numbers he put up look fine at first glance, averaging 18.5 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists per game with the most total minutes and games played for the Lakers. If you dig deeper, you will see that he is one of the NBA's least efficient scorers. Out of the 46 players who took at least 1,000 shots, Russ ranked 42nd in true shooting percentage. He also had the second highest turnover rate of his career, and his lazy defensive effort caused him to finish 24th in points allowed per possession. For over a decade, Westbrook combined his explosive athleticism with the need to dominate and became the first player since Oscar Robertson to average a triple-double for an entire season, and then doing it 3 more times in the next 4 years. He's had 9 All-NBA selections, most of them being first teams, and won the 2016-17 MVP. After Durant's departure from the Thunder in 2016, Westbrook became the player they built around. In LA, that player is LeBron, not Russ. A few months ago, he said he was never given a fair chance to be the player who he needed to be to help his team, and that LeBron and AD didn't make space to allow him to be the best player he can be. But maybe that's because they shouldn't be making space for him. The evidence is shown almost every time he steps foot on the court. The inconsistent jump shot, the sloppy handles, and the shaky on and off ball defense is enough to prove that he just isn't the player he used to be. It seems that Westbrook doing what he's always done is more harmful than helpful for the Lakers, a team that needs to surround LeBron with players who can shoot, defend, and not turn the basketball over. New Lakers head coach Darvin Ham has said what so many others have said before, which is that Westbrook can be a valuable asset in the NBA, but he'll need to sacrifice his play style to do it. He can do that by diversifying his offensive game. He can start to move more off ball and set some screens, and conserve most of his energy for defending. He could still be a starting point guard, he just can't be the same type of starting point guard he was in OKC. Russ hasn't requested a trade away from the Lakers since arriving in 2021 and made sure LeBron and AD were all in the pursuit of a championship. However, LeBron, who was in favor of the rumored Westbrook-Kyrie swap deal, has no interest in running it back with Russell Westbrook, who is not going to stick to his role. LeBron and the Lakers are probably stuck with him considering he's a 34-year-old guard who can't shoot and will be making almost $50 million next season. The Jazz, Knicks, Pacers, and others have discussed possible deals including Westbrook and draft picks to try and get someone to take on Westbrook's insane contract. There was reportedly a Pacers-Lakers swap that sent Miles Turner and Buddy Hield to LA for Westbrook and a 2027 first-round pick, but it is now halted due to Indiana wanting their 2029 first-round pick as well. Even if a good trade offer emerges, it's unlikely that the team bringing in Westbrook will have him in their starting 5. The way people talk about him in 2022 shows everyone agrees. The NBA thinks the current version of Russ no longer helps you win basketball games at a level that matches his salary, and we just have to hope there's another version of him. That's the next challenge for Westbrook. He can prove that the style he has built his career on can contribute to the Lakers, or he can take some time to reevaluate who he is on the basketball court. Melo, who never had a prime like Westbrook's, spent a year reevaluating before he could accept a smaller role as a low-salary player. You go for 16, 17 years and you're that guy on the team and you're the star, and then all of a sudden somebody's like, listen, come off the bench, Anthony told reporters when he joined the Lakers. I had to swallow that ego, I had to swallow that pride, but I also had to use that ego and pride to keep me on edge and keep me motivated, and I've accepted that. Some all-time greats could never come to terms with it, and you could understand why a star would laugh at the suggestion that he should be anything other than a star. It's dangerous as a basketball player to not check yourself, because you are usually the last one to accept your demise. I really am not sure if Russ can thrive in LA, which is sad because he is stuck there due to his steep contract. He doesn't seem to be too sad though, sitting on his $47 million this year. So do you think he could bounce back, or is this it for Russell Westbrook? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time.